So by now, many people have heard that Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz's 56-year-old daughter, Malika Shabazz, passed away on Monday, November 22nd. She was found in her apartment by her daughter. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. There are not a lot of details. The story broke while we were live on the air yesterday. The Griot.com has a good article dealing with this, and they talked about it on. We've heard about it in the news today. They talked about it on the Black News Channel. We know that Bernice King, daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, did a post on social media today about that as well. We shared it on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. So this is more sad news, and we know that this is on the heels of two men who were convicted back in 1966 of the assassination of Malcolm X. We know they were vindicated. Last week, we covered that extensively here on this show, Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam. Okay, so we'll talk some about what we know so far. The police are saying it does not appear it's foul play. So far, it appears that it is the cause of death has not yet been determined. Okay, Malcolm X's daughter Malika Shabazz found dead in her Brooklyn home. Police officials. So this story broke while we were live on the air yesterday, and we shared with you what we knew. And then we're gonna do an update on today's show. All right, so we'll talk about that, and then like I said, this is a big news day today. Kevin Strickland. We've heard about Kevin Strickland's case, and Kevin Strickland was exonerated after 43 years in prison in one of the longest wrongful conviction cases in U.S. history, and one of the longest conviction cases in U.S. history. Okay. Kevin Strickland was convicted by an all-white jury in 1978 in Kansas City, Missouri, and has spent over 4 decades in prison. All right. We're going to talk about this story. There's a big article from the Washington Post, and we talked about we posted this story on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. As soon as the story broke, I monitor about 35 different news sources on a daily basis. So I get news alerts all throughout the day and night, for that matter. So I got a news alert yesterday while we were live on the air that Malcolm X's daughter passed away. That's how I knew about it, because I get alerts all throughout the day and night. I've been doing radio 11 years, so there's been numerous breaking news stories that I've broken on the air. One of them was about Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump. I actually broke that story on the air for 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF. Kevin Strickland exonerated after 43 years in one of the longest wrongful conviction cases in U.S. history. Okay, so we'll talk about this as well. Now, and I'm going to share a clip from ABC News that gives some background information on this case also. Now, one of the most, I'm hesitant to say one of the most depressing things, because there's a number of depressing things in this whole story here. We're happy he's exonerated. He should have never been convicted. But based upon Missouri state law, unfortunately, he won't be able to get any type of compensation for being wrongfully imprisoned. I know it sounds crazy, but once again, This is an example of how elections have consequences and how politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement, and how politics impacts every aspect of our life. This is an example of that. This is the law in Missouri. Okay, so we'll discuss this as well. Okay, now, so we have that story. The Groveland Four. Okay, the Groveland Four. These were 4 African-American men accused in a 1949 rape of a white woman. They have been exonerated, and this was in Florida. Okay, during the Jim Crow era. This was a big story yesterday. We just ran out of time on yesterday's show and did not have time to talk about this case, but I posted about it on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. So you can check it out there if you missed it. A lot of people have been commenting on the story. So we'll squeeze that in. We'll talk about that on today's show also. And then lastly, let me see. So we have day 12 in the McMichael Bryan murder trial and the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. The jury is in deliberations right now. We'll discuss that. Kevin Strickland, Malika Shabazz, and the Groveland Four. Okay. All right. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation of Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Mental health and well-being have long been a taboo subject in the so-called African-American community. So I enlisted the help of mental health experts, thought leaders, and activists to help kill the ghost of Willie Lynch and heal from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
We experience trauma a lot of times on a subconscious level. So sometimes something happens to us and we know that it's traumatizing, but we don't really recognize the extent of the trauma.
We are emotionally constipated and emotionally obese because, again, all the things that we experienced in childhood, we've suffocated and we stored in our body.
It's a time to kill and it's a time to heal. We've been haunted by the ghost of Willie Lynch and his doctrine of self-refueling trauma for too long. It's time for Willie to die. Die, Willie.
Stop Speed the Ghost LOXD Block. It's time to kill the ghost of Willie Lynch and get out the Matrix. Check out my man Ron Life Speaks at diewillie.com.
Kwanzaa is coming, and the KwanzaaShop.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs. Order your Kwanzaa set today, which includes a kinara, candles, a mat, a cup, the African American flag, and a basket. Visit the KwanzaaShop.com, the KwanzaaShop.com. They have kinara sets, which include a candle holder, candles, a mat, and a cup. Kwanzaa is December 26th through January the 1st. Add the early bird discount code for 10% off your order placed before November 28th. Visit the KwanzaaShop.com and place your order today. The KwanzaaShop.com has all of your Kwanzaa needs to celebrate this African American Pan-African holiday. The KwanzaaShop.com.
African History Network show. We deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Unfortunately, many people confuse what racism is. Racism is a power structure. It was laws and policies that put us in this predicament. It's going to be laws and policies that take us out. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the compass of his or her actions because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know.
We have it all on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021, and we are live. Now on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct your own behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Okay, so we're going to call in numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. We're going to jump into this. I'm getting ready to send you this information here, Shakita. Okay, so we're going to go to clip 4. We're going to go to clip 4, number first, from the Black News Channel, Malika Shabazz. So we got while we were live on the air last night, this story broke, and I wanted to check a couple of sources before I started talking about it on the air. NBC Channel 4 reported yesterday Malcolm X's daughter, Malika Shabazz, was found dead in her Brooklyn home. The city's medical examiner responded to the scene and said the incident was not deemed suspicious. A cause of death has yet to be determined. Picture of Malika Shabazz also from 2015. Now, Malika Shabazz is, we know, the daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz. She was 56 years old. She was found unconscious and unresponsive inside her home on East 28th Street in Midwood just before 4:30 p.m. on Monday, November 22nd. The police officials told NBC New York. She was later pronounced dead. The city's medical examiner responded to the scene and said the incident was not deemed suspicious. A cause of death has yet to be determined. Malika Shabazz was one of a set of twins and one of the 6 siblings of all daughters of Malcolm X, Malcolm and Betty Shabazz. And she was born after actually, Dr. Betty Shabazz was pregnant with the twins when Malcolm was assassinated, February 21st, 1965. So now there's a good article from thegrio.com. Okay. There's a good article from thegrio.com on Malika Shabazz also. And we could try to pull this up here. We got this here from the Grio, and there was a